episode of Hey Hiras. I am one of your hosts, Abigail.
Hi, I'm Ariel.
And we took a little break. There was a little pause because life has gotten really busy, but today we are back with our lovely friend and dear roommate, Lee.
Hi, I'm Lee.
We're all trying to be professional sounding, and then Ariel starts laughing.
I'm sorry, it's just so funny. I'm like, we're all in the same house in different
rooms.
I'm your roommate. There's no way it's not gonna be like partially, like at least very funny. It's gonna be very funny. The gauge of like how well we communicate. I don't know. You know what I was saying?
Yeah.
This house is so big though, we like cannot hear anything like outside of our
Oh,
rooms.
yeah.
So
That's true.
we are basically living in different worlds right now.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. We're
But
so excited to have Lee on here because Lee was one of the first people we were like, we're gonna have them on for the podcast, and it's very exciting that they're gonna be on here in season 2.
Yeah, on
Thank
season
you,
two.
guys.
Welcome.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, I've been just like really excited to be on this because I know you guys have been putting a lot of work into this, and I think it's really awesome. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Introduce yourself to all our listeners.
I'm Lee Onysko. I'm a storyboard artist and revisionist, and I primarily focus on action and action comedy. I'm a non-binary person, so I use they, them pronouns, and I really, really, really like robots and cats.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We are in a cat-dominated household. It's well, actually,
Yes, I've converted Ariel to a cat person.
Lee's biggest accomplishment is just that.
Yes, Ariel is now a cat person and now wants a
I
cat.
am now friends with cats, and that's a big accomplishment. Anyway, back to the podcast agenda.
Yes. If
Time
you guys,
for podcasting.
Yeah, if this is your first time listening because you are here for Lee, which is awesome, welcome. We have like little corners that we do throughout the podcast. And our first corner is our most iconic one, which is called the pitching corner, where a guest pitches themselves, but with a twist. And they pitch themselves in a really fun and entertaining way because that's what we signed up for as going into the animation industry. You got to be entertaining. And so they either pitch themselves to infomercial style, spoken word rap. We had people sing. We still haven't had an ASMR style, which I'm still hoping for. But yeah, Lee, what have you prepared for us?
I prepared an infomercial. I was not aware that ASMR was also a thing, but also I don't know enough about ASMR, even though I watch the videos. Because
I think Ariel would be happy that you are not doing that.
I cannot handle
crackly.
ASMR. No, there's like, okay, commercial before we get to Lee pitching themselves. Like, it's not that I hate ASMR. There's certain ASMR sounds that I just don't do. Like, don't whisper. Abby, I can see you moving towards your mic. Don't whisper in my ear. The chewing noises.
I don't like
vibe
chewing
with.
noises.
So anyway, so it's just that. But enough of my problems with ASMR. Lee, we can go ahead and do your infomercial.
Attention companies and brands and other potential clients. Are you looking for, I would put sparkles here if this were a visual medium, a story artist or revisionist and more sparkles? Look no further, for you have found Lee Onysko, a non-binary story artist extraordinaire. Do you like action? Do you like comedy? Well, then Lee Onysko is the perfect action comedy story artist you have been looking for. This non-binary person not only knows how to draw cars, but actually enjoys doing it, and has done a surprising number of sequences that include cars and or robots. Perspective does not scare them, nor does tight deadlines. They've honed their ability to go straight from thumbs to final boards while still being on model, and they love being part of a team. So if you need a story artist or a revisionist, reach out and we can connect you with this 2021 version of Lee Onysko. This model comes with a shaved head and a variety of obnoxiously patterned shirts that are all covered in cat hair.
Oh my god, so good!
Clap, clap, clap.
That was one of the best pitches I've seen. Amazing.
Yes,
Thanks.
amazing. We can definitely go more in depth about your love for robots and mechanical things, because every time I see a robot, honestly, I just associate it with Lee. I'm like, this is very much a Lee thing.
That's what happens. It's like people see a robot or people see a cat, and then they're like, Lee.
Yes. Okay. Now we can go more in depth about Lee's journey into storyboarding, if we will.
Yes.
Yeah, so what made you decide to go into storyboarding? Like, what was the thing for you?
Okay, so pretty much since I was a kid, I was like, cartoons are really cool. And by the time I figured out, oh my God, people make cartoons, I was like already drawing and doing stuff on my own. And then sort of more towards high school, I was like, maybe I could make cartoons. But the high school I went to was really, really math and science heavy. So a lot of that was kind of like pushed aside because I was actually on track to be a molecular biologist. I'd literally done like biotech internships. I'd worked at, I was like essentially a lab assistant. I made cell cultures.
So cool.
Yeah, no, I sat there and I would like count the cells on this little piece of paper. So I'd have to like number them and be like, okay, this is how many cells are here this week. So I was like literally on track to be a molecular biologist. And then I snuck the Savannah College of Art and Design onto my college list. And my dad was like, this one's the only one that has a functioning website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because he was pissed with how the other ones had really crappy websites, we went to look at Savannah College of Art and Design and a couple other schools. And I ended up going to SCAD, and then I went to SCAD Hong Kong, where I met Abby and Ariel. And then we all were reunited in SCAD Savannah.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
funny. That is such a move with universities not having good functioning
Functional
websites. Even
Yeah,
some art schools
I'm just
don't
laughing.
have
Literally, I'm like remembering like when I was like looking into some art schools and like having like the most difficult time navigating through other websites. I'm like, isn't like design something you guys teach?
Exactly.
It's like, why is the website so confusing to navigate?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And yeah, we met Lee. We only had like one class in Hong Kong,
no.
but then again, the campus
just
was
kinda
so
like-
small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just basically like with everyone in the Hong Kong campus, whoever's new, we will just adopt you into our group because the friend group was so small and we just like welcome everyone. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I
So-
kind of just like latched onto you guys.
Yeah, that's so cool though that you started like with science and biology. I guess it like it kind of seeps its way into like your interests for like tech and everything and putting it into like art, which is pretty cool. Sci-fi is the thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, Abby, would you like to go further into like the times in like SCAD Savannah, because you two especially like worked all the more together by
Yeah.
the time we were all back in Savannah, because if you guys are from SCAD, you are looking at the two founders of the SCAD Storyboarding Club. So please talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Lee, I remember like Lee knew that I was into storyboarding, and we were like talking one day, and I was like talking about how the Savannah campus did have a storyboarding like club, but it kind of just fell
Mhm.
apart, and we were like, I want that to be a thing, like, and Lee offered, and they're like, would you want to like create the storyboarding club again and be
I remember
maybe
you
my vice
guys-
president?
I remember you guys talking about this. I remember the restaurant we were in Hong Kong when you were like, you guys were talking about like the storyboarding club and how it fell apart, and I'm just there like eating my noodles and I'd be like, and yeah, it became a thing, and you guys worked so hard on it. Like, when did you guys start it? Was it junior or senior? Was it senior year?
I think we started it junior year, and
Yeah,
then
we started
senior year is when it really took off, because that was when we started
Yeah.
having all those industry talks. But then
Mhm.
another
Yeah.
thing with the storyboarding club, before it fell apart, Abby and I probably met each other at like a couple of like the freshman year meetings and just like had no clue.
Exactly.
So then like
Mhm.
coming back together like 2 years later.
that was so much
Yeah.
fun. But yeah,
It was.
Lee was such a great president for that club, and like you should definitely go in about like all the organization and all the plan, like, and like any advice that you have to other people who are looking to make a club of their own, because we have so many people, especially when we are online, they're like, I am so glad I'm part of this community, but you can easily make this community at your own college. Do you want to go into that?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, so really it's just about kind of like finding people who you connect with and who have sort of the same drive as you. Abby and I are both on similar levels of insane with how much we like to plan and do, and how much we never like give ourselves a moment's rest, which is especially bad in college. But so really, it's pretty much just a matter of like finding people and then having the dedication to stick to it. I know I had to do like a lot of paperwork. I talked a lot with the ICC, which is like the Interclub Council at SCAD. And essentially it's just like, if you find, most colleges will also require that you have a faculty advisor. And we had our faculty advisor, Godo. And he was the guy who he would just like sign the forms when they came in and be like, all right, go do whatever the heck you want, kids. Yeah, but
I think like that's also something important to bring up. It's not just like if you want to make that community, like having your core group, yes, you have the same passion for it, but the drive and the motivation to like, you know, keep something going, that's also like a big important factor of like, you know, having that like club or, you know, that group mentality, so you guys can like keep, you know, making work and like working with each other. So that's something important. And then like luckily enough for you guys that you found your people who had the same like passion and drive to like, you know, we want to make this community happen, because we didn't have it when we were students, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, because I remembered the meetings my freshman year, and it was really fun and it was really nice. Just like having a group of people who like they were students like me. They were a little bit older, but like they taught me about storyboarding and that sort of stuff. And then when it kind of fizzled out, I was like, oh dang, well now I don't have this thing to go to every weekend. Then also cause part of the reason I knew Abby would like be really good at it was because you guys did like the animation club in Hong Kong. So yeah. And so like I saw Abby's drive with that, and Abby being like, oh my god, I want to do so much more with this club.
And we got to do it with the storyboarding club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think something you guys should talk more about is because as someone who was not a storyboard artist, but then just, you know, dropped by to these meetings because I had so many friends in this club, and I was just like, I don't want to miss out on the fun. I'm gonna just sit in the back. But you guys should definitely talk about, you know, the amount of industry artists you reached out to, and then you guys got them to like, you know, speak to the students, which is, you know, networking at its prime. Like, you should talk about that and like all the series you guys ended up working on.
Yeah, no, so I before I go into that, I do want to say Abby like was essentially like also president of this club. So like if anybody tries to tell you that Abby wasn't like also president, she did so much work and was so dedicated. So like thank you, Abby. I just gotta like I know it's like, hey, hire us, and so I'm here to advertise me, but also like, Abby, you're fucking really good at storyboarding. Oh, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah,
yes,
you're good.
You are.
Okay, cool.
We are adults, it's fine.
Cool. But so then with the club and the industry talks, it was in November when I actually reached out to someone at Cartoon Network about possibly having like an industry talk with somebody there. Because I think we went to the Cartoon Network meeting where Lauren and we ran into Jessie Juno there. And so she was really great, and we emailed her, and she actually helped connect us with a story artist there, Brendan Regulinski, I think was his name. So we got that set up, and it was a really fun time. We did it in the it's like SCAD's community center.
Yeah,
I think
student center.
That's student center. That's it. And then after that, we were all sitting there, and essentially like with the club, what most meetings were was we would be like, oh, we're going to do Storyboard Pro this week, or we're going to go into like action boarding, we're going to go into like cuts and transitions. And then we were like, okay, but what if we do more? Because a lot of the people who would come in to talk at SCAD was it was like industry connections that were really helpful, but it was mostly like cishet white men who most of us could not relate to. So we were like, well, what if we like try and get some industry storyboard artists to come in and talk and we do like a bunch of different series. So we were bouncing that idea around for a bit. And then I talked to Godo, because I think we were in class and I was like hanging out with him after class, and I was like, yeah, no, so we've been thinking about like putting together this like diversity in animation series where we want to do like woman in animation and LGBT in animation, diversity. And he was like, oh, do you want to talk to Anna Lencioni? I have her number. And I was like, oh, cool. And he like was literally like, okay, yeah, I'll text her now. And so he literally like in 2 seconds sent her a text.
I
And
remember
so
that.
yeah, she was like the first person we had for our woman in animation series. And essentially from there we tried to have a at least like 5 people for each of their talks. And we did women in animation, diversity in animation, which included like more marginalized people of color and that sort of thing, and then LGBT in animation, which was really, really fun for me because it was nice just like reaching out to everybody and like their enthusiasm to come on and like talk to the students and connect with them and tell
Everyone's
them about
so
like their
nice.
personal experiences. They're
I just want to like emphasize to any like students who are listening in, like if you're not like satisfied like maybe with the talks, like maybe you're like a community college who they don't have the connections because it's not like a really expensive art school. I think if you reach out to industry professionals and you're like really polite about it, you're not trying to be like, oh, you're not gonna like, oh, I want you to get me a job. You're just like, oh, hello, we were wondering if you could come in and talk. We totally understand if you don't have the time. We would really appreciate it. And you just say something really short and sweet. A lot of people are really nice in the industry and they would probably love to come in and talk to young story artists. And that was the case.
Right.
Absolutely. Because like literally like Jessie Juno, she was our company contact at like Cartoon Network, but like for a lot of our other people, we literally just like we went to their like portfolio site and like picked out their email and just like shot off an email, and it's much easier than it seems. And I also know, as somebody who also has like a lot of anxiety, that doing that can seem like a really, really big thing. But once you've done your first 2 or 3, it becomes like old hat and you're like, okay, just gonna bust this out. So it does get easier.
Yeah, and we had each other to like kind of bounce off and like check all our emails. We had like email writing sessions where we just emailed different people.
Our Discord was a lot of just like, does this email sound okay? Does this email sound okay?
Yeah. And I'm really grateful we had that series because I feel like me and Lee and like because we were the primary people who interviewed people, and we had our other officers had a chance to interview as well, but that made us more comfortable with public speaking and interviewing other like professionals, and I feel like that's a really valuable skill to have, which Lee definitely has.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm still working on public speaking. I did. Yeah, no, I've come a long way because like back when I was like way little kid, I literally like had to see like a speech therapist, so like came pretty far.
Yeah.
And then another thing about the reaching out to people, it kind of helped really like sort of demystify a lot of the industry, because a lot of times when you're like looking at the industry from the outside, you're like, oh my god, look at this person, they just got a job at Cartoon Network, or they got a job at Nickelodeon or DreamWorks, anything, and it's like, oh my god, they must be like incredible and they have so much talent and skill, which like they do have so much talent and skill, but you start to approach it less from a like putting them up on a pedestal and more from a like, you're a person, I'm a person, cool. Stand up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are like really helpful tips for those listening and reaching out to people. Like it seems daunting at first, like it is scary, but once you start getting to the habit of it, like it's just it'll become second nature to you. Like just reaching out and being like, hey, insert your little elevator pitch of like introducing yourself, and then just, you know, going from there. Like it will become much easier like the more you do it. So yeah. And then Abby, you want to continue?
I don't know if Lee, if there's anything else you want to say about the storyboarding club.
Essentially just that I'm so proud of the people who are running it now and the people who just graduated. Olivia and Noelle, you guys did really good if you're listening. They're incredible people and incredible artists, and everybody who like runs the club now is They work really hard. Like I know they work really hard, and they also have all their work for school to do. So like, good on them.
Anyone who's part of that club deserved to be there, and they were such wonderful people to work with, and they always did not complain at all. They always came and like wanted to do more and brainstorm more, and they did a great job, and I'm very proud of them as well.
Exactly. Oh my god, this is just another side funny story, but it was so funny because our treasurer Molly during the essentially also it was like a lot more chaos because our last quarter can't make it through anything without talking about the pandemic now. But our last quarter was like completely online, so we had to like restructure everything to do presentations and meetings and things, and that also just like we went insane. Like we were like literally like 2 meetings a week, 3 meetings a week at some point, just for like trying to schedule people in to talk, and it was really really fun. But it was also like a bit nerve-wracking because it was like all online, and we essentially became Twitch streamers.
I know, I was gonna say, it was like the way you guys adapted like all your events, because I remember, because again, I'm not a storyboard artist, but I somehow knew all the things that were happening in this club because I knew almost like all the officers, so I'm just like chilling in the back once again. But like the way you guys just quickly adapted all the scheduled stuff you have, and we're like, all right, Storyboarding Club is going on Twitch. We are streamers now. And I'm like, yes. Amazing. But that was so great. I'm just like, kudos to you guys.
Thank you. I will say it was really fun to make like all the icons and like set up all the screen and like I need to press this button.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
It trained Abby for her personal.
I know.
Yeah.
No, if I were to do a storyboarding club, I would give little emotes when people follow. If anyone's listening who's still part of the club, I think it'd be fun if you made your custom emotes and like custom little things that pop up. But
yeah.
And sorry, another thing that I loved about being online too was so normally like clubs, they're like kind of like close to like your college, so if it's in person, obviously people from your college can't really go, but being online and being on Twitch meant that we didn't have to like regulate who was coming to these talks and who was who had access to this information. So I made like a couple of friends online through it too, and it was just really cool because it was more of a community.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah.
But moving on to like other things that you done in your career as a story artist or just artist in general, do you want to talk about being a designer at Looney Team or head of video team and designer at Kids Know It Network?
Yeah. So basically, this actually started back when I was in Hong Kong again. So one of my really good friends, Sophie Spade, she's a really talented illustrator. She knew somebody who was creating like a lot of kids educational companies and was looking for designers and artists to essentially make worksheets, posters, some educational videos so that they could have like their own whole kids education site. So Sophie talked to me and was like, hey, do you want to do this? It's like, and Molly was also doing it, and like, so Sophie and Molly are like some of my best friends. So I was like, okay, well, of course, if you guys are all doing it, like I'll hop on. It's a thing for my resume. And it was really, really fun. The person who essentially like owned it was like Lauren Lacey. So she like delegated all our work. And I got to be head of the video team, which was just me. Shh. I could say it's a team until people ask me about it. I will continue to put team on my resume, even though it was just me working on videos.
The team effort.
It's a team effort. Yeah, no, if you want to say team, technically I did. I would storyboard the videos, and then I'd send the storyboards off to Lauren, and she'd respond back like, yeah, this looks great. Go ahead and animate it. And then I would animate it in After Effects. So it also helped that a lot of the videos that I got to do were really space focused. So I got to do ones on like basically each of the planets. So I had like, I remember I did a video on Jupiter, and it was really fun to do because it was also like pretty simple kids animation. So it's like really kid friendly stuff, and I love kids. So that sort of wrapped up after a bit because the company was actually sold to a larger corporation and became part of their website. So all the media that we worked and created went to them. But another reason why I thought it was really cool is that most of what we were doing, like the posters we were creating and the worksheets we were doing, it was for teachers to like use in class. So if like any teachers at like public schools or anything or any like just anywhere, they could access the files for free and download a poster and hang it up on their wall. And I really, really liked that, having like accessible education resources, because also like anything to help out teachers is really good to me.
Yeah. They deserve it.
That's so cool, yeah.
Looney Learn was essentially the same thing, except it was Lauren. She was like, okay, well, now I have a new site that I want to make. Do you guys want to work again? So we essentially did the same thing, except this time I also did some ads for, I storyboarded and created mobile ads.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How was that like storyboarding for advertisement compared to more what you are more focused on, which is storyboarding for animation? How was that?
So yeah, no, normally I storyboard like action and action comedy sort of sequences. So doing advertisements was I won't say way out of my wheelhouse, because like I did have to like teach how to storyboard for advertisement things for the storyboarding club, but essentially it was just like a little bit of an adjustment because I had to focus more on it really made me focus on like, okay, well, what are the key elements that we really, really, really need to highlight for people to understand what this game is, where they can access it, and how to get there. It was also weird, mostly because I was working in a perspective that I'm not usually used to working in. Like everyone knows like the 1920 1080p for like storyboarding or like anything on a computer, but I was creating ads mainly for like mobile use on like Instagram and stuff, so I had to like adjust my pixel ratio and that sort of stuff, which was just like learning what the new ratio is for a new screen size and what places are best to put stuff.
Yeah, I relate, like, because I don't know, because for me, like, illustrating, I'm so used to, like, just, keeping everything screen size, and then, just, because for us, well, for me, I've been illustrating more on, like, on the perspective, like, this is just gonna stay on screen, but lately I've been doing stuff that are gonna be manufactured and printed for, like, freelance, so I had to, like, sort of like teach myself on the job and be like, yeah, I can do it, but at the same time I'm like, what is the color resolution, blah 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 for this, and I'm like adapting once again, learning on your feet.
Yeah, I've been so impressed with that.
Get it. And I'm just like, I will say I will fake it till I make it.
I've been so impressed with that, because I know like I would be like insanely anxious doing like anything for print, just because like I don't know printing stuff very well, other than like I can print my resume. I printed a flat once.
I can print a document.
Yes, I know how to click the button,
but the technicalities, yes. But yeah, no, that's super cool. And now we can go more into like senior film then, because you were also a storyboard artiste on your senior film Hwanyan. Which is funny because, like, funnily enough, the concept for Hwanyan came from me and Abby's concept development class. So we've known about the story since like its beginning. So it's so fun that you got to work on that film.
Yeah, no, so then you know Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose is great. It was really fun working with all of them. They were really, really great people to work with, and it was so awesome to have like a completed film. So essentially Hwanyan was an onion that makes people cry because of his stench, and he's trying to find work. And it's out online now, so you can watch it, but at the end he finds work. He's a pianist because all his songs make people cry, but it's really just him being stinky that makes them cry. So it's like finding his place. for that, it was really fun because those were really Comedy Central boards, and it was also the first time that I got to like collaborate heavily with another board artist, Queen Azowski. She's great. We literally like we would sit there and like bounce ideas for like how a scene should go off of each other and like try. I remember very distinctly having like a couple sit down sessions where we were like, how do we fix this 180 thing that we have? Because like it has to happen this way, but it can't because of the 180. So just like because it was also 3D, so we had a lot more options in like moving the camera a lot easier, so we could do like all these weird big like wide sweeping things and moving 3D through the space.
That's so cool. That was a really interesting boarding for more of a 3D mindset, because at least when I was making boards for most of my classes, I was just thinking about the 2D animation, because I wanted to work in like I was like, oh, those type of shows are like what I look for inspiration. So that's cool that you had to adapt to that.
Yeah, no, so funny thing, I'm a 3D animation major. So
I kind of forgot about that.
I definitely should have been 2D and was essentially 2D, but I went hard into 3D modeling because I was like, you know, storyboarding doesn't work out completely. 3D can be my backup. It's not my backup. It's not my backup at all. I want to be a storyboard artist. I don't know enough about 3D modeling to do it like for Disney or anything. If you want to hire me at a small company, I can make you a dinky little model. Heck yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't mention it. I was like, oh yeah, Lee is a 3D person. Out of everyone I know, I'm like, Lee is the 3D person. But talk about, so yeah, I never, for my stuff, I mean, like, I do VizDev, which I guess is, you know, adapts to like most things, but at the same time, I rarely think of, you know, things in their 3D like animation sense. So what's boarding? What are the differences boarding for 3D then? Like, really, educate me. Mainly me.
Well, from my experience, really all it is just like paying more attention to like layering and knowing what sort of moves you can make, because for 2D a lot of times it's like if you have like a running shot where like they're running straight at the camera and the background's moving, like the animator's gonna sit there and be like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill this freaking story artist, because that's so much perspective moving in the background. But with 3D, it's a model, so you can draw somebody running at the camera and they can do it fairly easily, because all they have to do is have that space modeled. So that more camera options, more movements for camera, or more camera movements. And then another thing is also like layering. So layering becomes really important because it really helps push the depth of the camera and essentially like immerse you in the scene more. So having like objects in the front or objects in the back, like you got to have like a really well established foreground, middle ground, background, which is important for any story art, but it's particularly for 3D because you're in 3D. You got to, if you're not utilizing that space, why are you why are you doing 3D?
Also because onions have layers, so you know.
No, let's end this now.
Yes.
Anyway, I think that joke, my awesome onion joke, was a great transition to something else that is stinky.
Oh, what is stinky? Please tell me. Is it my stinky cats?
No, that too. Oh, how's the job hunt going?
It's going. It's going. Please hire me. Somebody. I would love to get paid to do art.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially I'll talk about this a little later, but I took a break from applying to places because I had surgery. It was gender affirming surgery, so top surgery. But I was down for a bit, so I sort of stopped applying and like looking at job postings and that sort of thing. But now I'm back and I'm like in it with like renewed energy. I'm slightly less jaded about just like sending my application out and never hearing back.
Let's go.
But yeah, no, it's especially actually in a couple more recent months. I've gotten like a couple offers for freelance stuff, which has been really, really cool to see that like, oh my god, people actually do want to hire me. Yeah, people do like my art. I do storyboards and I do them very well.
They're very good storyboards.
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of it I also like learned from you guys. I'm just like, okay, I got to get back on top of this. Because you guys are so like incredible at advertising yourself on like your Twitter and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Like you know what you're doing with like branding, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's just, I'm like, this is the only thing Twitter is good for.
Yeah.
Gotta take advantage of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I will just post what I want to post, and whoever sees it will see it. It's so funny. One day we were on the couch, and then Abby was like, "Yo, what time should I post my artwork?" Because, like, you know, if you're on the Twitters as much as me and Abby, you're gonna be like, "What time should I post this to get the most traction?" And I'm like, I don't know. I just post whatever I want. I used to be that person who was like, I gotta post it at this certain time because this is when everyone is looking at it. And I'm like,
oh my
at
god.
this point,
I feel
I'll just post when I wanna post it.
I feel like I don't know. Tell me, like, comment on our Instagram or Twitter if you guys even notice. But I used to be really on top of posting like the Hey Hire Us on certain days and like certain times, but it kind of fell off the wagon, and I don't even know if anyone really noticed that.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah,
Like we're recording. We're making stuff. It's fine. Like we be chilling.
but yeah, I'm glad that the job hunt isn't like doom and gloom, because it can be, but I'm glad that it's not that right now, because it's a time. It's a roller coaster essentially.
Yeah, it very much can be, and I think part of what actually has been helping me is you were actually screaming at me this morning about it, because I told you I hadn't posted one of my favorite storyboards that I'd done on Instagram or Twitter. It's on my website, but it's not on Instagram or Twitter. It is now. I finally posted that today, and I think part of what's...
check it out. It's so good.
Thank you. It's for an idea I've been calling like fruit pop, just magical girls that are fruit themed.
Yes, it's so
very fun to design.
It's so cute.
Thank you. But I think a lot of what actually helps me like keep from getting like jaded or like being all like doom and gloom about the job application and the job search is a lot of hobbies, a lot of extracurriculars, and then also I don't go on Twitter and Instagram that much. I don't. I have a healthy amount of social media regulation in that I just don't feel like going on it, so I don't.
That's very fair.
That's great.
Honestly, like having been roommates with Lee for like almost a year-ish. Let's say a year-ish.
It's essentially been a year.
I've been dragged into getting back into hobbies. I now crochet, everyone.
Yeah.
I have made a bucket hat. I am making things.
Yeah.
It's a very
Lee.
It's a very cute bucket hat. I love it. It's so cute.
That's something I realized when I was at SCAD. I didn't have any hobbies, like at all, because it was just all
because we don't have
working.
time.
Yeah, we don't have
time.
And I was like trying to get back into having hobbies was such a weird thing. Like it's only lately, like a year after graduation, that I picked up maybe doing hobbies.
Yeah, no, you went really hard. I know, like while I was at SCAD, I would make a lot of granny square blankets because they were like the easiest thing to make, and I literally like I'd sit there and it'd be like my de-stress for the end of the night. I'd just like turn on a TV show, and then I'd like let my mind zone out and just do the same stitch over and over and over. Because like if anybody who crochets like knows, people who like look at you crocheting are gonna be like, oh my god, that's magic. And then literally you're sitting there, and I think Ariel sent me like some video or something. It was just like me dissociating for like the past 20 minutes as I make a blanket. Because that's...
But yeah, no, I was gonna say, I think one thing that every time we would talk, like, you know, just on our own or like when we're on the couch chilling, like since graduating, I think it was nice that you got to like, you know, take a pause for a bit.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, well, personally for me is like, I didn't have the choice just because of like, you know, my visa requirements and everything. So I just had to like, you know, keep going and keep applying. But the way that just burns you out, like I think like there was a point where I was just like, I hated drawing, like personally, which sucks because like drawing is like one of the things like I love the most. And I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things to do. But the fact that like, you know, because we're doing it, you know, for work and, you know, to like literally feed ourselves.
Yeah.
But like it just like burns you out. So I it was nice, like, you know, taking that break and like finding hobbies outside of drawing again. So I'm like, thank you, Lee, for encouraging the crafty agenda.
It's crochet time. You know, we've dragged Abby down into crochet too.
Yes.
And then
I
the
still
other
haven't made
day-
anything because I'm just like it's a square, but it's really fun, and
that's all.
I'm excited
That's
to
literally
get
like, you just got to get the square down. You got to do a square, and then you can unravel it all and do it again. And like, it's just a matter of getting the stitches down first. And I mean, it's just like it's like art. It's like drawing. Just you got to keep doing
definitely,
it.
Like I think the best thing, especially now that we've been graduated for a year, for the newly recent graduates, like the graduates of 2021, get a hobby that isn't drawing.
Please,
Touch grass.
I implored
Go
you.
Touch grass.
Touch grass. Touch a
That's the
crochet
meme.
hook.
Go outside.
Touch some
touch
yarn.
grass.
Well, like honestly, as for the three of us who have been like graduated for a whole year now, we know.
Please,
Yeah,
take
and,
care of
like,
yourself.
Take care of yourselves. It's so important, and you know, your mental health is just as important.
Also, we're very
So-
proud of you because I can't imagine doing a whole another year.
I know, yeah.
Online.
Congratulations,
Yes.
by the way. You guys are amazing, and you will go far and do great things. But
You
also
did.
take breaks.
A year and a half in a pandemic. Like, damn, look at you guys go.
Amazing. But are we gonna keep going at this like sad moment?
No, we gotta talk about the
Oh.
dreams.
Oh, we
gotta
gotta talk about the dreams.
Lee's.
Ah.
What do you have any dreams? Like the sky's the limit. The universe is the limit. Not even the sky. You can go as much as you want. Like, what is your dream? Your final dream goal or project? Anything? I know you want to do a graphic novel. Do you have any like sort of
Yeah.
position in animation that you want to go towards? Like anything, we would love to hear.
Yeah, so when I was down with recovering from surgery, actually, I got back into reading a lot of comics. So I have a graphic novel idea that I really, really want to do, and I'm probably going to be drawing up some sketches and making like a little pitch packet, and probably
You
like
wanna
a
share
little
a little?
10-page character study. So far, I've been calling it Marcy in the Middle World.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Thanks. Yeah, no. So really it's mostly just about like this girl who stumbles into a fantasy world and sort of becomes like entrenched in it, but she can like go back and forth between home and this world, and she decides kind of that she wants to live in the fantasy but doesn't. Also, like she really comes to the realization that the fantasy is still just life. Like the people in the fantasy world are still just people and that sort of thing.
Ooh, I like that concept. I love the
Thank
name though.
you.
That's such a great
Yeah, that's a good name. That's a good name. Keep it.
Okay, thank you. Because like I've been debating on like I really like the name Marcy, but then I was like sitting there and I'm going, Malcolm in the Middle.
No, but I like Middle World because you like think of that world as something like so fantastical and of everything, but then you come to realize that it's just like your world, and that's what I think of when Middle World. Normal, just not up here. Here.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's
I
so
love
Then-
that. I can't wait to see.
everybody
Thank
truly be getting
you.
into graphic novels.
Comics are fun. Comics are actually kind of how I originally got into a lot of art stuff, because in high school I had a friend who they had like a really, really cool webcomic idea, and we read all the web comics, Paranatural, Monster Kind.
Yes. Oh, I miss the
Namesake.
old webcomic days.
Yes, I'm gonna get back into the webcomics because I might do Marcy in the Middle World as a graphic novel first. But aside from comics, dream goal for storyboarding would obviously be what a lot of people's dream goal is of your own animated series.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just did a little snippet, a slice life board in the Story Squad kinda. It was a little comedy board for. I've been calling it Mo and Joe Space Go because it's like really inspired by
so cute.
Thanks. It's really inspired by like a lot of mecha anime. Like I grew up on like Robotech and Voltron, like the original like 80s Voltron. Because my dad just like got me hooked on all of those. I actually one of the first art prizes that I won was Robotech is initially a book. And I took the anime character and a mech from the anime, and I made it an anime book cover. So I did the horrible thing of where it's like, you know, the movie becomes the book cover instead of like a really cool like graphic cover. So I essentially did that, but with anime.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
No, that's so cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yo, I hope this all happens, and you know who can help that dream come true? If there's an agent who is looking for someone to rep, or a recruiter who's looking for a storyboard artist, please hire Lee.
Yes, please. I work very hard, I promise.
Yes, we can attest to this.
I am extremely organized and
yes,
very, very dedicated. And I did teach myself to go straight from thumbnails to final boards.
That's crazy.
I'm still very proud of that.
That kind of goes with our next point, which is me and Ariel are on the other side of the table, and we're looking at you with our fingers like this, and we are like, we are AA Productions, and we are looking to hire a storyboard artist, and we are asking, this is the final question before we decide everything. What can you bring to our company, to the table, as a unique individual? Let us know.
I can bring a very unique perspective. Well, I'm non-binary, and that's been a big part of my life, especially recently, because I just had top surgery. So that's sort of a walk of life that I don't see a lot in media. There's been trans characters and stuff, but it's been you haven't seen as many like non-binary people who use they them pronouns a lot because most people still are like they them, like that's grammatically incorrect, and it's like no, it's not. But Webster or Merriam or Webster Dictionary or whatever recognizes it. But so I can bring that perspective to the table along with just having like grown up on like mecha anime and like so all this sort of like action stuff. Like I really know my way around mecha and story structure, particularly like sci-fi story structure. And boy howdy, if you want to know about hydroponics, you got an idea that's centered around hydroponics, ask me. I know a lot about hydroponics. I may or may not have several D&D characters and story ideas centered around it.
Stop.
I love
that. We really brought hydroponics into this podcast.
Interview.
You can't talk to me without talking about hydroponics. Like that's just
listen. Lee and I have like had many a conversation about hydroponics. I don't know anything about hydroponics. I know like the basics about it, but I brought up that ride at Disney World once. I was like, oh yeah, my dad was really into like that Lion King ride where you like pass through where they grow the plants and it's all hydroponics. And Lee went nuts.
Yeah,
Lee was like, oh my god, yes! That ride is amazing. Let me tell you about hydroponics.
Another thing I can bring to the team that like bounces off of that, I do a lot of research. That ride
very true.
Actually was a lot of research for a comic pitch I was working on at the time. My friend Sophie and I were in Disney, and so there was like a behind the scenes greenhouse tour, and I was like, Sophie, we're doing this greenhouse tour, and she's like, this is something my dad would make me do, and I'm like, I don't care, we're doing it. So I like dragged her along, and I like stayed like 10, 15 minutes after, like just talking to the tour guide, being like, okay, so like, what do you do for this? Like, so I really like getting like hands-on with like people's personal experiences and like making sure that I know where people are coming from and I know what I'm writing about.
Nice.
Hired.
And I want to add that Lee is super, like, they talked about it in their pitch, but I just want to emphasize they're super really solid in their foundation skills. They are really good at their gesture drawing. If you go on their site, you can see their gesture drawings, which they do in Sharpie, and it's very, very solid stuff. Their perspective is really, really solid, and they're super good on being on model, which are all things that you want to see in a storyboard artist. So definitely, please hire Lee. Come on now, let's go.
Thank you, Abby, for talking about the things I probably should have instead of talking about hydroponics.
No, both are good though. If there's a show that is featuring that, you definitely need to reach out to Lee.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
No, but it's okay. No, I am very proud of my foundation skills because, like, I miss the life drawing classes so much. I'd want to go every week, I'd just sit there and I'd have my Sharpie and computer paper. I wouldn't even get like any of the fancy stuff. Straight up, Sharpie and computer paper is like all you need, really.
Yeah,
it works.
Literally, yeah. Oh,
And I work
life
really
drawing,
hard.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Staging.
do.
And
Hired.
once
I
Forever
love
hired.
screen
so you're
design.
hired, Lee. And is there
Thank you.
any, this is something I'm very curious about. I know I guess not how people think about it, because for me, when I get hired at like a studio full time, I want to like buy myself a Big Bud press jumpsuit or just a jumpsuit. Is there anything that you want to treat yourself to once you get that job? Once you get that in?
I think I know what Lee's gonna say, but I'm not sure.
Ariel knows what I'm gonna say. How I know I've made it is when I can have my own home hydroponic system.
Yes.
They're really easy to build. Like I'm gonna straight up be like I'm gonna be a garden lesbian, except I'm not gonna get any soil involved. It's literally gonna be me growing plants in some water.
Oh my gosh, we love it.
I want to build my own system.
Please help Lee and their dream to come true, guys.
Please let Lee have that hydroponic system. They have
Yes.
been talking about this nonstop.
Literally nonstop.
You will help this dream come true, guys. You know you want to be a part of it.
Thank you.
That's so funny.
Oh,
Anyway, shall we move on to our last and final corner, which is our season 2 special, which is speed interview.
Ooh,
Dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun,
dun.
All right.
Do you want to
Alright,
start
let's go.
first, Ariel? We can shake it up.
Yeah, I don't have a timer. Wait. Hold on. Commercial break. And
Now
Now
Alright.
it
get
won't be
my
me
phone.
being shocked by the timer all the time.
Commercial break.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to talk about another thing I do that's been really fun. It's been a really fun hobby, and Abby made my day the other day when she said she was interested in it.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I gotta bring up my hobbies because they're honestly like a big part of like why I'm able to keep doing art, because it's just like it's nice to get your hands doing a different thing. I do doll customs,
Yeah.
which is
Wait! Oh my gosh! Commercial for like this whole thing. Wait, people aren't gonna see it anyway.
But you can talk about it and like
Oh.
we can link it in the.
Oh,
We can
okay,
retweet
fine.
it.
Oh my god, so everyone, so I just interrupted Lee's whole story that they do doll customs, but I will be the endorser of this amazingness. Lee basically transformed my character Tala, which is like the little moon spirit, like, girl I have who's like, flown around all the time on my like social media, whatever. They made her into an actual living doll. I will share a photo I will probably retweet it on the Hey Hyris Instagram or whatever, Twitter, so people can see, but it's so amazing. Like
It's
they
so
literally like
good.
the patience
you.
and
The attention
like,
to detail.
amazingness, and I'm just like crying
Amazing.
forever. It was amazing. But yeah,
Thank
we should
you.
definitely you should send us pictures of your doll customs, because
yeah. No, because it's a really fun art. It's also just like it's a way for me to like do something creative without like drawing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna hammer home that hobby point. Please get
Yes.
hobbies so you don't get burnt out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, how long do we do the thing?
I do 2 minutes.
Okay. Let's do this. Ready? The timer, you cannot even see it.
I cannot.
Set.
I'm watching my own timer on my recording thing.
Go. Okay. Digital or traditional?
Digital.
Recent thing that made you go, wow, I love animation.
Mitchell's and the Machines. First thing I thouof.
Ooh,
Other than
yes.
Owl House 2.
Okay. Favorite thing to board?
Action sequences. Action comedy. I love some big old robot mecha sequences.
Let's go. This kind of is the same thing. Comedy, action, or romance?
Action comedy.
A cartoon you would love to live in.
Oh, Owl House.
Ooh. What
Mm.
movie would you love to see the boards of?
Parasite. Parasite's really good.
Yes.
Yes. Favorite art supply?
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Considering you have many hobbies, this would be very-
Yeah. I gotta go through. It depends what hobby. Recently, I gotta say, I love a good old Sharpie.
Yeah, we love it. Biggest artistic influence?
Probably a combination of I'm gonna say Steven Universe and traditional mecha anime Robotech.
Nice.
Ooh. Thumbnails, roughs, or cleanup?
Roughs.
Relatable. Instagram or Twitter?
Twitter, I think.
I feel like I know the answer to this. What is something you could do a TED Talk on?
Boy, howdy, can I talk to you about hydroponics?
Yes, for the
or,
third
or
time.
doll customization.
Nice. Proudest achievement?
Huanian probably winning silver at the SCAD Film Festival.
Yeah.
That was really good. Felt really good to do
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Horses versus cars. Wait.
You can't see them, but I'm giving them a look. They know how I am with horses.
Lee hates horses so much.
Okay, that was time up, and I think we ended on a good note. We can go in depth about how much Lee hates horses. Lee is actually
Afraid.
terrified
1 feet.
of horses.
This is the extreme spectrum, one or the other. This is Lee's hate to love is horses versus cars.
Literally, like you said that question.
And I was like, wait a second.
Oh,
But yeah, no, you draw cars well,
Mhm.
and I'm like,
thank
claps.
you.
claps.
Part of it is just knowing how to import models into Storyboard Pro.
Hey, anyone who's listening, Lee has a really good hand on Storyboard Pro, knows all the tips and tricks, so that's something
the
you want
cheat
to
sheet.
have on a new storyboard artist. Just saying.
Yeah, know how to do
Yeah.
3D in Storyboard Pro. I love the 3D function of Storyboard Pro. It's really great.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
we
great
did it.
end. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lee, for being
ending
a
on
part
horses.
of this.
Let's go.
I know.
One fear.
One fear.
Ending on one true fear. But yeah, where can people find you and hire you?
I'm Scribble Mouse on Twitter and Instagram. Do people give out their email and phone number on
Yes.
this? Or
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
not phone number.
Not phone number.
Okay,
No.
never
Not
mind.
phone
I-
number.
No one has phone numbers here.
Yeah. What's the phone number?
You got to work a little harder if you want my number.
Yeah.
So my email is lee.onysko, ONYSKO, @gmail.com. That's lee.onysko@gmail.com.
Sick.
And a website?
sick.
Website www.lee.ony.com.
Nice.
Yay!
Go,
People
contact.
Definitely
Hire
contact
me.
and hire them.
I love
Yes.
action comedy. I am really good at it, I promise you, and I am really eager to learn.
Yeah.
Yes, and you will also get a free TED Talk on hydroponics.
Exactly.
Yes,
What's not to
I
love?
will tell you how to grow your own vegetables.
But yeah, thank you everyone for listening and continuing your support of this podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HeyHireUsPod. And we're also on Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/HeyHireUsPod if you would like to support us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a
and
great episode. Thank you again, Lee, for being a part of it.
Thank you guys for having me on this. I know you guys have been working really hard on this, and it's so exciting that I'm in a point where I can be on this and talk to you, because it honestly I talk to you guys all the time, but it's just really fun to
Yeah,
it's
it was
always
so
so
fun.
fun.
sit down and
Yeah.
talk about the industry and yeah.
But
And
yeah.
you guys have been doing a great job. I'm so proud
Thank
of both of you.
you.
You guys,
Stop it.
I admire you both a lot. I was talking to Abby earlier about traits I admire, knowing her worth, and then
Oh no.
you guys are both just so good.
Thank you. That
Stop
makes
it,
us
but
happy.
yeah.
We always love our
Thank you.
guests coming
Yes.
on here. And
We sound like such radio hosts. I'm kind of
I think we definitely grew into it. We definitely got better at this. But yeah,
Heck
Thank you,
yeah.
everyone.
we will see you next week with our final episode, I think, of season 2. And
Yes.
but yeah, it was been a fun run.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. Again.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hire me.